Bowen alongside the SEC's all-time RBI leader in Casey Cooper. As day one of the War Eagle Challenge, Casey, what does Auburn have to do to carry that momentum from California back to the Plains here tonight?
They just have to trust the process and trust their game because they came out firing in California and they have that coming back for them.
Well, the offense this season has taken a step forward in year two under Mickey Dean. 7.3 runs per contest, Casey, and it's starting to flirt with those numbers that the 2016 team put on with 7.9 runs per contest.
It is, and one of the main reasons is that they have that long ball and they have that confidence. They're getting people on and they're scoring them.
Michigan State has Charla and Ebony Eccles, the 1-2 punch of the lineup for Michigan State, Casey, and it's up to those guys. They are the table setters of this lineup, no question about it.
It is. If anything's going to get started with Michigan State, it is going to be Charla and Ebony, especially having their averages over 350 each.
Well, Auburn going with their senior ace and Michaela Martin in the circle tonight. For Martin, a 0.84 ERA. She's coming off a loss to number 5 Washington in relief last Friday. So for Martin, trying to get back in her winning ways tonight, Casey, with that drop ball for the Auburn Tigers.
It is, and already you can tell that she's confident in that drop ball. You see her warming up, and there you couldn't tell that her last game she had a loss.
For Michigan State, here's what the lineup will look like tonight for the Spartans. Again, the two Eccles sisters will lead things off at the top, with Charla being in the leadoff spot. And if you look a couple spots down to the 6th spot of the order, Lainey Joyner coming back for Michigan State. She is an Auburn transfer making her first return trip to the loveliest village on the Plains. It's Auburn and Michigan State to open up the War Eagle Challenge in Auburn, Alabama. Should be a good one. It is Martin versus Eccles to start us off. And Michaela Martin delivering a first pitch strike. And that's where she's going to live, Casey, against the lefties. Drop ball going away.
It is, and she's already starting off with a strike. She's starting ahead, and she's showing what she's going to do with Charlotte.
0-1 pitch, swung on and missed away. No balls, 2 strikes. Eccles, a .419 hitter, playing just about an hour away from her hometown in Newnan, Georgia. Newnan, only about a 45-minute drive up I-85 from Auburn here in East Alabama. But for Eccles, she comes to Auburn tonight, Casey, on a hot streak, a 7-game hitting streak she's extending from Michigan State's week-long stay in the state of Alabama. Fights off a drop ball outside.
It is, and you can already see that great approach coming from her. 2 strikes, she knows she's going to see that drop ball on the outside, and she's able to protect.
Kayla Martin against Washington last week went 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 of those with earned with a walk and a strikeout. 0-2 lifted in the air to left, and Bree Fornes makes the catch for the first out. And for the Auburn Tigers tonight in the outfield, a new center fielder tonight for Auburn, as it'll be Brittany Marisette. Was supposed to be in the starting lineup, but the Tigers go back to Morgan Padani in center field. Padani started every game in center field. They had Marisette in the leadoff spot last weekend. Thought she was going to be in center field tonight, but a late scratch for Auburn. And, of course, Fornes in left, Rivera in right. First pitch to Ebony Eccles, grounded to Tannen Snow at third. A stretch from Perry's enough for the second out. And we'll start with Tannen Snow at third base for the Auburn infield tonight, Casey. She's been playing well, a player that did not play defense last year for Auburn. She's taken a step forward here the last couple of weeks.
It is, and she's taken the lead on the left side, especially with her sister beside her. She's had that confidence and she's had that structure.
With 2 outs and the bases empty, it'll be Katie Ladd, the shortstop for the Spartans.
That was a good take by Katie. Definitely a pitcher's pitch, and they get an idea of where the strike zone is going to be tonight.
0-1 pitch will miss away, or excuse me. Yeah, 0-1 pitch outside for ball one. And Martin trying to make quick work of Michigan State, who gave Alabama a run for their money last weekend, as the Spartans lost by 1 run to the undefeated Alabama Crimson Tide last weekend in Tuscaloosa.
It is, and Michigan State's coming back, you said, from that loss, but they have that confidence saying that we can compete with an SEC team, with the top in the country.
For Michigan State, they're led by Jackie Joseph in her 26th season as the head coach. And had a chance to talk to her this morning, and going for her 700th career win up in East Lansing. And the 2-2 misses away. Good pitch by Martin. Even better take there by Katie Ladd. Payoff on the way. Line drive, it'll drop for a base hit into center. And Katie Ladd picks up the Spartans' first base hit.
It is Mac, you see right there. She had to come with a strike. It was a 3-2 count, and Katie Ladd took advantage of it. It's a pitch over the plate, up out of the zone, or up at her belt, and so she's able to drive it back up the middle.
So a runner at first with 2 outs for Michigan State. That'll bring up Mackenzie Meach, the right fielder. And for Meach, average not where she wants it to be this season, but the RBIs are there. She is leading the Spartans, 14 RBIs, also has a couple long balls to complement. Slow roller, going to be a tough play. Snow comes up firing across the diamond, and the inning comes to a close. Nothing for Michigan State. Auburn to bat next after this. Junior right-hander Jordan Watson getting the start tonight for Michigan State. It was a scoreless top of the first inning for the Spartans, and for Watson, she'll come out with a 3.44 ERA, a 1-2 record. 8 appearances, 4 starts with 20 1/3 innings pitched. Returning to the Southeast, a Woodstock, Georgia native, one of 4 players from the state of Georgia making a return to the Southeast tonight. And for Jordan Watson, though, Casey, going to be facing a very tough, very potent Auburn offense tonight.
She is. Auburn's going to start the lineup with Taylon Snow leading off, and then we have Brittany Marissette, who after last weekend as the DP, she has made the return, and she made herself known in this Auburn lineup.
Yeah, Marissette had herself a weekend, 3 multi-base hit games, and coming into tonight with a 4-game hitting streak. Not a bad way to kind of footprint yourself into the lineup and also carry a little momentum into the final weekend of non-conference play.
It is. Last year she started as strictly a runner, and this year is how it started, and she has earned her spot onto the starting lineup.
Taylon Snow leading off the ball game for Auburn. Snow picking right back up where she left off from her freshman season. One of Auburn's best averages last year, and hitting .385 this season with 19 runs batted in. And Watson with a good pitch. Tucked that one just under the belt for a called strike.
Definitely can already tell she's a little bit more of a spin pitcher, and so as a hitter you have to be able to barrel this ball, and if you're going to miss on top, because that spin's going to allow those pop-ups and those miss hits.
Tigers led by second-year head coach Mickey Dean, 57-21 in his time on the Plains, but well, you can definitely tell Auburn trending upwards under him in this second season on the Plains. Hard grounder to short. Katie Ladd takes care of business. Bakay covering first, just one down.
It is, and that was a great barreled ball by Taylon. If it was one more step to Caitlin Ladd's right, then she'd be on. And that was a great play. Good footwork, good hands by the shortstop, taking her time.
And Ladd, one of the best infielders for Michigan State, and a player that the Spartans have leaned on here this season. Brady Marissette taking the first pitch for a ball, getting ahead. And well, Marissette, when she had her success last week for Auburn, it was in the leadoff spot of the order. Taylon Snow, who led off tonight, was out of the lineup the first day. Coach Mickey Dean kept Marissette there even day 2 against Oregon and Washington because of the success that the junior was having at the plate. They drop her one spot tonight. Sets back on the off speed. Joyner a play glove side is 2 down.
And she is definitely that type of hitter on the left-handed side that can bunt, that can slap, and that can hit a home run. And so she's definitely one you have to watch out for. And as a defense, you have to be on your toes.
Look at the infield tonight for Michigan State. Evelyn and Ladd on the left side, everyday players. Again, Lainey Joyner making her return to J.B. Moore Field, redshirting her freshman season. At first base, Melanie Baquet starting for the first time in a couple of games. Again, she's in the lineup tonight because Coach Joseph wanted to add extra bats and move Mackenzie Meach, who has been playing first, moved her out to right field. 0-1 to McCracken. And boy, McCracken, she has been a do-it-all player for Auburn. I mean, the best player defensively for Auburn in the middle infield, and no question, one of the best bats in this Auburn lineup.
And she's just so stoic and so confident in everything she does. And she has definitely came into her own, especially as she's grown throughout her 4 years at Auburn. She's went from the quiet one on the team to she is the leader. And it's awesome to watch people grow.
McCracken with a big milestone approaching this weekend, trying to join her teammates Alyssa Rivera and Kendall Veach in the 100 or more hits club. She's at 98. She needs 2 hits this weekend to break the century mark. Rivera did it 2 weeks ago. Veach did it last week in Fullerton, California. And a 2-2 lifted in the air. Carrying back is Meach. It'll go off the wall. Extra bases coming for McCracken. And a 2-out double for the Auburn senior. Her 6th double of the season.
Now batting to right fielder, number
she just did a great job. She has a 2-strike approach, and that means that with a changeup, you have to be prepared for it. She sits back, and she's able to drive this ball right field, even over the deep Mackenzie Meach's head, and she plays it very well off the wall, straight to second base, and just a great piece of hitting.
RBI opportunity for Alyssa Rivera. She has 15 on the year. Rivera, a Florida native in her junior season, and another player that's improved from sophomore to her junior season. Had a great freshman season, an all-SEC selection 2 seasons ago. And Rivera last year kind of went through the growing pains of being an everyday starter in the SEC, but man, this year she has been locked in, and talked to Coach Eddie Kettlehut and said that, hey, Rivera came to her and said, hey, we've got things we got to fix. Let's get to it. Let's try to get this fixed by the start of SEC play. And Casey, when you hear that, I mean, you know this Auburn team is eager when players are coming to coaches saying, hey, we want to adjust. We want to get better. That's a good sign for Auburn.
It is, and no player playing wants to have a rough year.
Sure.
And it comes to that realization of, okay, well, if I can't do it myself, I need to be able to go to a coach and be like, what do I need to do to be better? And so that was just a great job by Alyssa Rivera. Second year is always the rough year because coaches know you. Every SEC and PAC, everybody has the books on you. And so your junior year really shows how do you make those adjustments. And so far, she's adjusted very well.
Eddie Kettlehut in his second season at Auburn. He got to Auburn late in the spring, or early in the spring last year, right after fall practice, right after the holidays. As Rivera takes one high for ball four, says first and second, 2 outs. Tigers trying to get a little two-out rally going. And the thing for Coach Kettlehutt, he came in at a tough time because it was a new coaching staff as it is, and then you come in a couple of weeks before the season starts, Casey. Talk about a tough transition there.
It is, and it's one of those things that you're not able to really change much. You just got to go with what you have, and you have to build that trust relationship with all the players, and that takes time. And time is not what you have in January.
So Coach Joseph coming out with her first visit tonight, and she understands the importance, too, of coming into Auburn, playing good defense and having good pitching to back it up, because for Michigan State, they know coming in tonight, hey, they got to keep Auburn off the boards. They got to put some goose eggs up to give the Spartans a chance late in the ballgame. It
is, and I love that opportunity for a timeout because it quieted the crowd. There's 2 outs. Even though you walk somebody, it's actually better to me as a defense because the play's anywhere. And so you have a force at any base. You just got to tell the defense to relax, tell Jordan just to calm down, take a deep breath, get us a ground ball.
First and second plays at first, second, or third for the Spartans, but a tough out at the plate in Tannen Snow for Auburn. 1-0 all speed, good pitch by Watson.
And we can see that Caitlin Evelyn is actually playing behind the base. And so as a third baseman, 2 outs, you really think that Tannen Snow is not going to bunt, especially being the power hitter. And so you might as well give yourself the most range possible to get that out.
1-1, slow roller to second. Joyner up, throws to first, inning over. So a late 2-out push, nothing for Auburn. Scoreless at the end of 1 on the Plains. Familiar face in the stands tonight at J.B. Moore Field for Auburn softball. The former All-American Kaylee Carlson in the stands tonight. Still in school at Auburn, pursuing a professional degree, and boy, what a career she had, Casey, wearing an Auburn uniform. She had one of the deadliest changeups, I think, of any pitcher that's ever come through Auburn.
It is, and it's definitely a little bit more relaxing when you're in the stands and get to watch the other girls compete out there.
What about the broadcast booth?
More nervous. Way more nervous.
Why?
Because everybody can hear you. People can't hear you on the field nor in the stands.
Scoreless after 1, Auburn and Michigan State. In the final challenge in the non-conference for Auburn this weekend. Auburn with a busy weekend. A lot of teams in town. First batter up. And it is a ground out to second at Caitlin Evelyn on the play, retired. And another ground ball out for Michaela Martin. Through 4 outs tonight, Michaela Martin has 3 ground ball outs. Casey, that's not uncommon with the way she pitches.
It's not, but what I like to see out of Michigan State's lineup is that they're being aggressive. And so with a strikeout pitcher, with a dominant pitcher, you have to be aggressive in the box. If you see a good pitch to hit, swing. And so that's what I like seeing right now from this Michigan State lineup.
Now the former Auburn red shirts, Lainey Joyner coming to the plate. Joyner redshirted at Auburn as a freshman in 2017. Here's a one-hopper back to Martin, goes down to get it, and it's 2 outs. 3 pitches, 2 outs, and the Auburn senior making quick work of the Spartans here in the second.
Definitely being very efficient. She's had a lot of innings so far this year, and so the least pitches that she can throw every inning counts, especially in the long run.
Lexi White, next batter up, the designated player tonight. Hitting just 10 points below 300 on the season. And she picked up a couple of hits last weekend in the Crimson Classic in Alabama. Turns on it, and it's a souvenir for a foul ball, 0-2. And Michaela Martin, I mean, she is just in a zone right now in the circle. Only 1 ball this inning, and 1 more pitch, and she's out of it.
Definitely very efficient. What you see right now is that they're not barreling her currently. The last 3 batters have not.
And from a player that's hit against Michaela Martin in practice, Casey, as an opposing team, what are you looking to do against a pitcher like Martin coming in when you know what you're going to get, but being successful is easier said than done.
It is. There's two options as far as a hitter if you want to be successful against a drop-off pitcher. One, you can move in the box if you want to. I moved in the box once, I think, in my career, up. And then the other option is to take your knee lower. To start getting on plane with a drop ball, you have to take your knee lower to stay through the zone as much as possible.
2-2 pitch. Slow roller to short. Snow charging. Quick throw to first. Inning over. 1-2-3 for Michaela Martin. 4 in a row retired. Auburn to bat next. Scoreless in Auburn.
The top scoring offense.
Welcome back to Auburn in the bottom of the second. The Auburn Tigers, one of the top scoring offenses in the SEC, looking for some runs in the bottom of the second. And looking at how Auburn stacks up against some of the other top teams in the league, I mean, 7.3 runs per contest, Casey. The Tigers are right there. And when you talk to head coach Mickey Dean in the offseason, he says, hey, we've got to be getting at least 4 runs. If we can get 4 runs per game in the SEC, it's going to set yourself up for a chance to win a few more games that Auburn did last year. Auburn had a lot of one-run losses last year, and that's something this team they know and they're trying to improve upon. And so far, right now, they're trending upwards in the offensive categories.
It is, and this is another weekend that they can continue to trend upwards. You want to get as much confidence as many players with at-bats this weekend because next weekend starts conference play. And so as many runs, as many confidence that you can get, especially in the younger players, that's what you need moving forward.
Kendall Veach will lead off the inning, starting at catcher tonight. It'll be Justice Perry, brief Forness to follow. And Jordan Watson comes in on the inside corner, 0-1. Watson did a great job of getting out of a tough 2-out jam. She gave up a double to McCracken, walked Rivera, and retired a very good hitter in Tannen Snow with runners on base last inning.
I definitely like how Jordan Watson's using her changeup. It's definitely trying to keep those Auburn hitters off balance. And right now, as long as she can keep it close to the zone, every hitter has to have that in the back of her mind.
1-1, attacking inside on Veach. Veach, another player, has been swinging it well. Auburn, 7 of the 9 players hitting above 300. Kendall Veach, one of them, also has 6 homers and a team-high 19 RBIs, tied with Tannen Snow.
And Veach is a player that makes her money on the inside pitch. She loves the inside. She loves staying to her full side, and she has power that way. But she can also stay on the outside pitch when she wants to.
She's had a chance to learn from some good hitters in her career. One of them, my broadcast partner here tonight.
We definitely had many extra at-bats and cages together.
And you two also lived together, right? Her freshman year, your senior year?
We did live together. And she was a really good roommate.
Casey Cooper, of course, a familiar face around Auburn, Alabama, and of course the SEC as well. The SEC's all-time career RBI leader, and that's just one of many records she owns. There's a hard liner third base side, and Veach just missed extra bases by a couple feet.
It is, and every single foul ball, she's become more on time, she's stayed through, and she's barreling. And so this right here, she's just a little bit in front, probably because it's more inside than you want, but with 2 strikes, you have to protect. Every single pitch, the closer she gets to this plate, it's going to be a hard hit ball.
2-2, lifted in the air to left. This could be trouble. That ball is out of here. And Kendall Veach, her 7th round tripper of the season. Tigers on the board, 1-0.
And that was a great piece of hitting by Kendall Veach. She had already fouled off 2 after 2 strikes. And just when I was saying, as a hitter, you get more and more confident. Especially the pitch before, she had just lined, she had just barreled. It's okay, I'm on time, give me something good to hit. She stays over, she stays through. This is an elevated pitch, and if you see it up, you keep it up. It's a good saying.
Did you abide by that saying?
Absolutely, see it up, keep it up.
And Auburn, a team that can hit a slew of home runs. Auburn as a team this season already with several, as the Tigers have hit 29 home runs. Justice Perry has 2 of those. She comes to bat.
Good composure by Watson. Coming back, first pitch has a strike on the outside corner to Justice Perry.
Yeah, Watson, I've liked what I've seen the first time around through this Auburn order. Despite the home run from Kendall Veach, she's got good movement on her pitches, and you watch her in the circle tonight, she's got a plan. I mean, she's staying poised, and even when she got into trouble in the first inning, she hasn't let up.
It is. She's made one, and I wouldn't even call it a mistake to Kendall. It was an elevated pitch with 2 strikes who had just barreled 1. And so she paid for that one. But everything else, she's missed to her advantage. She's either missing low off the plate or she's missing belt high off the plate. You know, she's missing to her advantage, and that's what you want to see out of a pitcher.
Well, if you look at the runs she's given up this season, a 3.44 ERA, she's given up 21 runs. Only 10 of those have been earned coming into tonight. And a 2-1 off speed finds a strike zone at the belt inside. Nice pitch.
It is, and just like that, we saw that that Eccles moved, and so it wasn't where she wanted, but it's still to her advantage. It was a low strike. It's coming across at the knees to Justice, and that's where you want to stay with the bigger hitters.
2-2 off the end of the bat. Slow roller to Joyner. She'll throw to first, and it's 1 out. Thought with Perry there, if that ball had a little less velocity on it, maybe an infield single, but Lainey Joyner cleaning up the business there at second base. That's her 3rd assist tonight at second.
And we can already note that if Lainey's getting a lot of balls right now, that's saying she's working outside. She is throwing a little bit slower, 63, and then the off speed is what she's making her money on, which is 52. She's keeping those Auburn hitters off balance, and if she throws that pitch on the outside corner a little off, then they have to reach and push it over to Lainey.
Bree Fornes coming to the plate for Auburn. She had a pretty good weekend in Fullerton, California. Had a great first day, had a couple multi-hit games. Here's a bunt back to the pitcher. Watson throws, and it gets away. It'll get down the right field line. Extra bases for Fornes. She'll head for 3rd, standing up. And the Tigers take advantage of a little small ball, adding a little pressure, and Bree Fornes, she takes not 1, not 2, but 3 bags here with 1 out.
Bree Fornes read the infield. She saw that the first baseman was staying back. Jordan Watson did a great job covering the first base side, covering her position. But the throw was there, and that's just a tough one. It's coming, Bree's running in the baseline, the throw's coming into the baseline, and so that's really hard to try to catch as a first baseman. And then Michigan State was playing over in right field. They were cheating the corner, or cheating the hole, and so you pay with a triple with speed.
Another bunt, first base line, no play to be made, and Bree Fornes scores. Padani safe at first.
This is what you need late in the season. You need to be able to execute the squeeze perfectly. Morgan Padani is deep in the box, so she's not giving away the squeeze. And with speed on 3rd with Bree Fornes, that is a perfectly executed bunt, perfectly executed squeeze.
And the bobble by Bakay Still going to rule that one a single. Not sure she would have got her.
No shot.
Even if she picked it up cleanly. So 2-0 Auburn. Auburn having the long ball by Kendall Veach and Bree Fornes using a little small ball followed by the squeeze of Morgan Padani.
It is, and that was great coaching. That was a great coaching decision by Mickey Dean because they had just had a mistake, and what better way to keep the defense on their toes than to call a squeeze. And so great job, great call. And now you have to worry about speed on first. So you're going to, especially with Coach Dean, he's known for running. And so I would expect to see a steal in the next pitch or two.
Auburn this season 37 for 45 on stolen bases. Morgan Padani is a perfect 4 for 4. A good runner. She can cover gap to gap in center for Auburn. Taylor Snow taking a strike to even the count 1-1. And now where Michigan State's got to be careful. Auburn, if you look at them as a team this year, game to game, they are better against starting pitching the second time around. They have improved drastically this season at making adjustments in game.
And that's how it should be. Every single time you see a pitcher, you should gain. You should gain confidence. You should be able to make the adjustment. And so that's a great job by Auburn. You should definitely see an increase in batting average the next time facing a pitcher. Well, that one's going to leave a mark.
That one going off the foot of Taylor Snow, a player that had a tough weekend last weekend after flying out to California last Wednesday. Had to miss the first 2 games of the Judy Garment Classic due to an illness. So Taylor trying to be back in the lineup for every game this weekend for the first time in a couple weeks. Here's a ground ball, gets through the right side. It goes through Ladd, deflects, and makes the tag on the bag at second. They throw to first. It's not in time, and Michigan State, they get the ball to bounce their way, and they get the lead runner at second.
That was a great, not only barreled ball by Talon, but what a diving effort. Great job by Laney being able to try to stop the ball, but she actually does even a better job of being able to push it to second base. And Morgan Podani was definitely out at second, so that was just a lucky play.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Rather be lucky. You can credit that to the effort that Laney had on that ball.
One for Joiners, so that will go down as her 4th assist of the night. Katie Ladd with a nice play at short. Ladd's already made a couple nice plays as well. The middle infield showing off tonight for Michigan State.
It is, and you have to credit Katie for being ready. Just being able to be like, oh gosh, and be able to handle it. So good job by Katie, and then even had a shot to try to throw out Taylor Snow.
Nothing in 2 on Brittany Marisette. Bouncer to Joyner at second. The toss in time, inning over. Auburn scores 2. Kendall Veach with a solo home run. And for Veach, she picks up her 7th blast of the season. A no-downer to left. At the end of 2, it's Auburn 2, Michigan State nothing. Lovely night in the loveliest village on the plains is 2 Auburn. Tigers with 2 runs off of 3 hits. And Auburn cruising with Michaela Martin in the circle. And Michaela Martin, one of the best in the SEC, one of the best in the country her senior season. Look at where she ranks in the Southeastern Conference. And Casey, is quite simple. It's no surprise with the numbers that she puts up.
It is, and what's so impressive is that as a senior, she's gotten better. And so usually as pitchers, it gets much tougher every year because the same people have seen you. And so as a senior, it's much more difficult, and you have to be ready to be confident and trust your ability as a senior. And so she has definitely done that.
She'll face 8, 9, and 1. That's Bakay, Quinlan, and Eccles. And before we ever get going, Kendall Veach will come out and have a chat. And Casey, what can the conversation be before you ever face a batter here? What are you talking about, especially in batters you haven't even seen yet in the ballgame?
It might be of what are you feeling confident with as the lefty? What are you might need to be ready for the slapper if she does. You're just trying to get a feel of a little bit of everything.
Well, indeed, she has had a wealth of experience for Auburn in the infield. First pitch lined into left field by McKay. It'll drop inside the line for a leadoff base hit, and the Spartans have their second base hit of the night.
That was a great piece of hitting by McKay. First pitch, she's coming with the outside drop ball, and she stays on and she stays through. She doesn't try to pull it. She stays on it. She stays in control, and she drives it to left field for a base hit.
Well, McKay doing her job because, that Coach Joseph said, hey, she is playing first tonight. She's in the lineup tonight because Coach Joseph thought she could be an extra bat, be an extra weapon against this Auburn team. Here's a bunt attempt by Quinlan.
It is, and she's a table setter for Quinlan because if you look, she has a .410 on-base percentage and she's speed. We see that she's a slapper. She's going to disrupt the Auburn defense. Everyone has to be on their toes because as an infield, you have to be ready for the bunt, you have to be ready for the slap, and you have to be ready for the steal.
Another missed bunt attempt by Quinlan, 0-2. And for McKay, she'll have to make the long trot back to first. So Auburn, they were successful with a little small ball in the bottom of the second. Michigan State trying to return the favor here and move some runners and the tying run at the plate. With 2 strikes, Quinlan will stay squared around. She'll pull back.
And we see as a defense that it's shifted with a slapper up with 2 strikes because they're not going to bunt. And so Casey McCracken is cheated towards second base. She's going to cover the steal. And you don't have to worry about the slap anymore or the bunt. You don't have to worry about that. So Justice Perry is playing back. She's covering first on everything. And then Casey has second base.
Good adjustments for Auburn. And that's one thing when you have a pitcher like Michaela Martin, you can make those adjustments with 2 strikes. I mean, she fired in 2 missiles there knowing McKay was trying to lay down a bunt.
It is, and her drop ball's tough to bunt.
Yeah. Goes off speed, is dropped behind third base. So despite the missed opportunities, bunting, Quinlan still comes up with a base hit.
And this is just a great 2-strike approach. She sees the changeup. It's high. It's elevated. She doesn't try to do too much. She just tries to poke it in right over Tannen's head. And so just a great 2-strike approach, not trying to do too much. In fact, if she would have finished her swing, it would probably have been a fly out to Bree Fornes.
So first and second, nobody out with the heart of the order coming up in Charlotte Eccles. For Eccles, flew out to left. Her first appearance tonight, has a 7-game hitting streak.
It is, but in that first at bat, she flew out on the changeup and she recognized it. She was just under it. And so she sees Michaela Martin very well, and that's why you see right now Michaela is working to her advantage. If she's missing off the plate.
Hitters count coming up for Eccles, Michigan State. With first and second, nobody out. Make it a 3-0 count. And for Eccles, again, it's been impressive what she's been able to do just as a freshman. I mean, she's leading the team in slugging percentage for .419 batting average. Top 10 in the Big Ten already. And I think the funnest thing about her story is she's getting to do it beside her sister Ebony, who she's tied for in the team lead in home runs. Ebony on deck to bat next. And a 3-1 high for ball 4. What a job by Michigan State. Coming back to respond after giving up 2 in the bottom of the second. They load the bases, nobody out in the top of the third, and Coach Mickey Dean will make his first appearance to the circle tonight.
And that was just a great at bat by Charlotte Nichols because she stayed in control. A 3-1 pitch, she didn't try to get big. She knew that she wanted a good pitch to hit, and it was a little high, and she took it.
Well, and that can be tough sometimes too, especially with a hitter's count. You know you got the hit streak going. You know you can perhaps tie the game or take the lead with one swing of the bat, but that was a selfless at bat there, and that's coming as a freshman in the leadoff spot of the order.
It is, and that was just a great piece of hitting. It doesn't matter how you get to first base as long as you get to first base.
So bases loaded, nobody out for Michigan State. The Auburn senior Michaela Martin will have to pitch her way out of a jam, and she's got to go through a senior in Ebony Eccles, the left fielder for the Spartans. And Eccles, a good hitter in her own right, 349, 13 RBIs, and 2 home runs. McKay's on third, Quinlan's on second, Eccles on first. First pitch strike coming in on Eccles. Michaela Martin retired Eccles with a 1-pitch ground ball out to third in the first inning. Strong numbers, over 100 RBIs in her career, 20-plus doubles and triples. So 1-1's fouled back, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And one thing I've noticed from Michigan State here, Casey, is they are making adjustments with their approach against Michaela Martin this second time around. You see him more patient, not biting at bad pitches out of the zone.
Well, right now, Ebony needs to get on time because that last swing, she was late or she would have had it. So right here, she needs to be on time to have a good approach.
1-2 lifted down, just a tad late. Well, for Michigan State, this is who you want up at the plate. A senior with a 5-game hitting streak in Ebony Eccles.
It is.
Martin puts a little off speed out there. Eccles does not bite.
She's not even fazed by it. She is in the zone, a good 2-strike approach. She knows that she needs to get this ball in play to force this Auburn defense to make a play. But I do like the fact that she's becoming more and more on time with every single pitch.
2-2, hard bouncer. Taylon Snow goes home to Kendall Veach, goes back to third, just late for a bang-bang double play. But Auburn, they keep Michigan State off the board. Taylon Snow to Kendall Veach for the lead out.
And that was great hands by Taylon Snow. This is a hard-hit ball. She already knows that she wants to go home, and so she fires it to Kendall, and Kendall does the great job of trying to get the out at third because she's not set up for the play to first base, and that is pre-pitch communication. She's saying, if I get this ball, I'm going 3.
And just a split second late, if that. Bases still juiced for Katie Ladd and Michigan State. Kendall Veach giving the signs to Michaela Martin. For Ladd tonight, she's 1 for 1. Recorded the first base hit for Michigan State back in the first.
It is, and she saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She saw 6 pitches. And so we see that first pitch, she was ready to hack.
0-1, bouncer steps on, is Snow for third, throws to first, a double play. Auburn gets out of a bases loaded, no out jam in the third. And Taylon Snow cleans it up with a 5 unassisted 3 on the hot corner. Auburn to bat with a 2-0 lead over Michigan State. Bottom of the third inning, Auburn leading Michigan State 2-0 in the War Eagle Challenge. Joined now by Michigan State head coach Jackie Joseph. Coach Joseph, a tough last outing. And on the offensive end for your team, how are you able to apply pressure, and how are you able to adjust moving forward against Michaela Martin?
Well, the pressure's great, but we didn't get done what we needed to get done. That's the turning point in the game right there. You get a chance to, bases loaded, no outs, and you don't get any runs. That's not good. We have to do better than that if we expect to come out on top.
And Coach, pitching in the circle tonight your starting pitcher in Jordan Watson, throwing some good innings thus far. What does she have to do to keep your team in it tonight?
Well, I just took her out, so we're trying to change speeds, and so she did a nice job. We blew the defense there on a couple of bunts. Otherwise, we'd be down 1-0. I thought she did a nice job, but we're going to go ahead and change her and go to Gregory and hopefully change some speeds.
Coach, appreciate the visit tonight. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you coming.
McKenna Gregory will be the new pitcher for Michigan State. As Michigan State, you heard it from Coach Joseph. They're trying to change some looks here against this Auburn team, as Auburn put the pressure on them with a solo home run and a squeeze bunt by Morgan Padani in the second inning. Auburn leads 2-0, and for Gregory, she will have to face the heart of the order: Casey McCracken, Alyssa Rivera, Tannen Snow. And for Auburn is Casey McCracken, who picked up her 99th career base hit with a double in the first inning. She needs one more for the century mark.
And I like the change in the circle, because Casey McCracken last at bat had a double and she was able to start the rally. And so I like the change that she's saying, hey, let's try to keep our team in this and make a change.
Lifted in the air, right field. Meach playing the warning track, shifts over a couple steps, and it's an easy out, one down. McKenna Gregory takes care of business on the first batter she faces tonight. She has a 2.92 ERA. She's 1-4 on the season in 10 appearances. All of her appearances have come in relief. She's gone 26 1/3, second most innings on the team. 16 runs given up, 11 of those earned with 4 walks, 13 strikeouts. Good strikeout to walk ratio. Opponents hitting .306 against her.
And just showed a nice changeup, and so every single person now in the lineup has to know, okay, her changeup's on tonight.
Rivera walked her first appearance tonight, swinging a hot bat, .345 average. And a nice pitch by Gregory. After getting behind 2-0 on McCracken, get ahead 0-2 on Rivera.
It is. That first out's always the hardest, especially coming in, and she did a great job getting that and building off of it. Starting with a changeup and then hitting with a backdoor curve on Alyssa Rivera.
Lifted in the air, going to be a tough play. It goes foul. Evelyn and Eccles with the effort for Michigan State.
And there definitely is a speed change, because she's hitting 67 with her heart, and she hit 49 with her changeup, and so that we call that a 20-mile-an-hour difference on the changeup. And so if you're not sitting on that pitch, it's extremely difficult to hit it out. It's more of something you hit a base hit with.
0-2 sped her up that time, past the diving glove of McKay at first, and Alyssa Rivera picks up her first base hit of the night. She's reached base twice tonight. Lead on, or a one-out runner aboard for Auburn.
And good piece of hit. We see that Gregory comes inside, and Rivera is not fooled whatsoever. She's able to barrel this ball, turn on it, and get a base hit.
I'll bring up the power hitter, third baseman Tannen Snow for Auburn. Line drive, left field side, it'll turn foul. And if you notice, out in center, Katie Quinlan, she's got a hard shift over to left center. They're playing Tannen Snow to pull one to the left side here. And even the right fielder, Mackenzie Meach, she's shifted over as well.
And that just shows you where Tannen usually hits her balls, and they want to be able to cover more ground and play the odds.
That's the inside pitch, foul, 0-2. And boy, Tannen Snow, she hit her 6th home run last Friday against Washington, and it was a go-ahead home run late in the ball game against her former team, and a ball that was a no-doubter off the bat. And I know Auburn didn't come out with a win in that game, and it's one Tannen Snow will remember for a long time. Runner goes, and Rivera to second. She's going to take off for third with a wild pitch, and she takes not one but 2 bases, and the Tigers had their third run 60 feet away. That'll be a stolen base, 8 for 9 in the season for Rivera, and a wild pitch going to Gregory.
There was no hesitation by Alice Rivera. She realized rounding second base that she wants to take 2. If there's the ability that Charlotte Eccles is still trying to find that ball, then with her speed, she knows and she's confident she's able to get third base easily.
On the 0-2, almost strike 3, but Snow ruined a good pitch by Gregory.
Yeah, but you have to be cautious, especially starting to work up, because Tannen lives on the high pitch. And she has the ability to catch up to a 67-mile-an-hour rise ball. And so right here, I would not be surprised if we see outsider change up.
0-2, hard bouncer, RBI base hit for Tannen Snow. 3-0 Auburn, 19th RBI for the third baseman.
And just a good piece of hitting by Tannen Snow. She sees the changeup. She stays over the ball so well and is able to get the ground ball. And so we see it's an outside changeup. She stays over, she stays through, and she does her job to score Alyssa Rivera.
And Rivera pumped for her teammates in Tannen Snow. And that's something Auburn did so well in California last weekend, Casey, was hitting with runners in scoring position. And one of the reasons Auburn came away with 3 big wins out in the Judy Garman Classic. And with one player putting Auburn on the board first tonight, that was Kendall Veach, a solo home run last inning. Up to bat for her second time tonight.
And coming off a home run, you feel good. Anything close, you feel like you can barrel, you feel like you can do a decent job with basically anything around the plate. And so I expect to see Kendall being aggressive on a pitch close to the plate.
Two-0 downstairs, and another look at the Veach home run.
And we see she takes the rise ball. It was 2 strikes. She'd already fouled off a pitch very well the pitch before, and she takes this ball out of the park.
And Kendall Veach, just one of the many power bats that Auburn has. Tannen Snow, Rivera, McCracken, all big numbers this season, and the numbers rising as Kendall Veach takes first base on a 1-out walk.
And I don't know about you, Britt, but none of those pitches look too close.
Yeah. And as a pitcher, you know, you come out, you get a big out in McCracken, but then you put Rivera on with a single, and all of a sudden just hasn't been the same since that stolen base wild pitch. And it's been an RBI single and then a Kendall Veach walk. And for Michigan State, though, this is where they have struggled the most in the last few seasons.
It is, and you have to be able as a defense to pick each other up. And so as a defense, if you just gave up the walk and the stolen base, you're going to say, hey, runners at first and second, 1 out, get us a ground ball we can turn to. It's okay. And so right now, especially with Justice Perry up, if she hits a shot to one of these infielders, then they have a shot at a double play.
That's how Auburn got out of a bases-loaded, no-out jam in the top half of this inning. And for Perry, she does have 1 ground out tonight. She grounded out to second base in her first at bat.
Justice had a really good foul off the pitch before, and you see right there she gets jammed, and Laney's able to go 2, and they try for 1. But that is great base running by Tannen Snow, because without hesitation, she goes for it.
And Tannen Snow able to score, giving Auburn a 4-0 lead, and Justice Perry getting an RBI off the fielder's choice. Veach retired at second, so.
And we see the mental mistake right here. You have to play no matter what. You can't let the umpire control the outs. And so we see that she tries to stick it and hold it as long as possible, and during that time, Tannen's sprinting home. And so you can never be the umpire in a game. And that's just a tough lesson to learn early in the season.
And a great technique on the slide there by Tannen Snow, getting to the back corner of home plate and getting around the tag. Heads up base running for Auburn. And that fielder's choice almost as good as a base hit. The Tigers trading out for a run. Tigers lead it 4-0 over Michigan State with Bree Fornes at the plate. Fornes one slowly improving this season for Auburn. Reached on a throwing error by Jordan Watson in the second. Took 3 bases on the error in the throw in the right field. Here's a slow roller, second base. Joyner to first, inning over. Well, the Tigers, they get 2 more back. An RBI for Tannen Snow. It is 4-0 Auburn. It was bases loaded, no out for Auburn, but defense turned up big for Auburn in the third. Tannen Snow went home for the first out. Kendall Veach just misses the double play. Next batter later, it's all Tannen Snow. Steps on third for 1, fires back across for 2, and Auburn out of a bases loaded, no out jam, and the Tigers lead it 4-0, headed to the top of the 4th inning. And under head coach Mickey Dean, well, the Tigers' pitching and defense has been spectacular. 1.74 ERA last year. This year has gotten even better. 1.37 ERA. And that 1.74 ERA, Casey, was one of the best ERAs ever in program history at Auburn, and the Tigers improving this year.
It is, and we can just see what he harps on, pitching. And so that's definitely, you can see the effect of his coaching style.
It'll be Meach, Evelyn, and Joyner. First pitch bounced foul to third base. Meach will have another attempt. She grounded out to third in her first appearance.
And we see that she's still just a little around the ball, and so she has to keep her hands in to be able to stay on plane with that drop ball and drive it.
Another bouncer third, and another Michigan State hop foul. Tannen Snow getting some ground ball reps here. And made a great play on the double play to end the third inning. But for Coach Joseph, Casey, she's going to call time to talk a little strategy here with Mackenzie Meach, because for Michigan State, this is their second time around, and they know they've got to make adjustments here.
It is, and she's taken the same swing 3 or 4 times, and so you have to make the adjustment. Hey, let's see, try to keep your hands in, stay over the ball, stay confident, 2 strikes.
Bouncing ball, makes the adjustment, gets through with a leadoff base hit.
And great adjustment, and this is an 0-2 count. She does a great job. This is a ball that she can handle. It's on the plate. It's going to be a strike. She stays inside the ball and is able to drive it for a base hit.
So Meach picks up her first base hit of the night. 4th hit tonight for Michigan State. They just have no runs to show for it. Trying to add some more pressure with Katie Evelyn. Evelyn offers at the first pitch drop. She had a bounce out to Casey McCracken to lead off the second. See how many pitches or how deep in the count she can get here. She only saw 1 pitch her first at bat.
I like that adjustment by Michaela Martin. Evelyn had just offered at a low pitch, low out of the zone, and she was able to throw, let's say, hey, how far are you willing to swing? And so the ball's, it bounced to Kendall, but she's able to handle it and just trying to get an easy out if she could.
Martin staying low and inside on Evelyn. Martin trying to clean up some things in the circle before the fun begins next weekend with Texas A&M coming to town. Slow roller down the third base line. Fair ball, no, is foul. Called foul by John Cambridge behind the plate. It rolled down the line fair almost the entire way to Tannen Snow's glove.
I mean,
and yeah, it rolls foul just at the end.
Good eyes.
Good.
It definitely looked fair up here.
Yeah, really good call. One of the many reasons I could not be an umpire. Two-two, bouncer, this one's fair. Snow, throw across the body, and she's safe. Infield base hit for Caitlin Eveland. First and second, nobody out for the Spartans.
And that's just a tough call. It's a tough play for the Auburn defense. You know, Taylor Snow is playing deep. She's almost at the grass because she wants to turn a double play. And it's just out of the reach of Michaela Martin to get to. She tries to do everything she can, but she's not able to get a lot on that throw. Justice tries to help out as much as she can, but that's a great hustle by Eveland.
Laney Joyner coming to the plate. Takes a first pitch down for a ball. And this is where Michigan State, they want to get some runs here. They know they left 3 runs on base in the 3rd inning. Bases loaded, nobody out, nothing to show for it. There's a bunt attempt by Joyner. It's a strike.
And that's 3 bunt attempts that are whiffs. And so that tells you how difficult Michaela Martin's drop ball is to bunt and also how much her ball is moving.
Another missed bunt attempt for a strike. Michaela Martin, when she knows it's coming, it's easy. Just keep the ball down, and the odds are in her favor.
It is, and as a hitter, Joyner definitely has to make a mental approach difference right here because she just missed her bunt attempt twice. She has to stay in herself and try to have a productive at-bat.
1-2, swung on and missed for the first strikeout of the night for the Auburn senior.
And we see Michaela Martin goes with a drop ball inside and gets Laney Joyner. She gets her to swing over it, and just a great job. And I believe that is her first strikeout. Couldn't have come at a better time.
Low and inside on the righties. That's where she'll live. Here's Lexi White. Bouncing ball foul, third base side. White 0 for 1. Hitting in the 7th spot of the order. Average started at 290. It dropped 9 points after the ground down to shortstop.
Gotta love preseason where everything matters.
Another grounder. Snow, McCracken, Perry, 6-4-3, double play, and the Tigers turn their second twin killing of the night. Auburn infield making an impact against the Spartans. 6-4-3 to end the 4th. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Auburn in control, 4-0 over Michigan State. It's Auburn and Michigan State. Auburn in control, 4-0. And Chardonnay Harris giving Tigers head coach Mickey Dean a little love before his interview here with us. And Coach Dean, talk about the defense on the left side. Both the Snow sisters playing well for you tonight. How has that helped out your pitching tonight in some tough spots?
Well, you know, when you can get 2 outs with 1 pitch, that's always a bonus. And with the drop ball pitcher, you always have that opportunity.
And this year we've seen that the offensive numbers have improved drastically. So what's changed? What's that philosophy for you?
Quality at bats. That's it. We're not worried about what your batting average is or anything like that. The only thing we're focused on is quality at bats. If we can be at 60% higher on quality at bats in a game, we have a great opportunity to win that ball game.
Coach, appreciate the time. Best of luck tonight.
War Eagle.
Tigers head coach Mickey Dean, and he has got the crowd happy and having a good time tonight. It's 4-0 Auburn. Tigers trying to add to it with Morgan Padani, Taylon Snow, and Brittany Marisette to lead off the bottom of the 4th. And the first pitch strike from Padani. And you got to forgive me there, Casey, with the chuckle from the hug from Chardonnay Harris there. Just came out of nowhere. With Coach Mickey Dean joining us on the broadcast. It's been a good night for his ball club. I know he'd like to add a couple more here with his lineup turning over for the third time tonight. Ground ball to Ladd at short. She'll take care of business. The stretch from McKay, enough for the first down. And for McKenna Gregory, that's a big out to start the fourth inning because she got into a little trouble last inning. And outs like that can slowly build confidence, and that's what you need when you're rolling over for the third time tonight in a good team like Auburn.
It is, and it puts less pressure on the defense because if you had a speed runner on first and then you had Taylon Snow coming up, it's a little bit more pressure and you have to expect everything.
Taylon Snow looking for her first base hit of the night after turning a 6-4-3 double play in the top half. Joyner to first, 2 outs. And McKenna Gregory using her defense, 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the fourth.
It is, and that wasn't a good adjustment by Lainey Joyner. She actually cheated up the line for Taylon Snow, or up the middle, and so she was able to be in a good position to make that play on Taylon Snow.
Lainey Joyner having several opportunities tonight at second base. I believe that's her 5th assist of the night. And again, Joyner making her return to the Plains after redshirting her freshman season at Auburn before heading up north to East Lansing. Oh-1 to Marissette. Called strike and a good pitch by Gregory. Marissette trying to carry over some momentum from last weekend. Had 3 multi-hit games in California. Led off all 4 games for the Tigers in the leadoff spot and has a 4-game hitting streak on the line tonight. And the 0-2 fooled on the pitch outside. And Gregory has her first strikeout. A 1-2-3 inning in the fourth. 5th inning next on the SEC Network. Been some big innings tonight for Auburn. In the second, Kendall Veach with a solo blast puts Auburn on the board, a 1-0, her 7th bomb of the year. And in the third inning for Auburn, great hitting with runners in scoring position. Taylon Snow bouncer her back up the middle, and the Auburn third baseman comes up with a big RBI base hit. It's 4-0 Auburn, each team with 5 hits apiece, Casey, but this one tonight, Auburn taking advantage with runners on base. They're moving runners, something that Michigan State's been unable to do in this one.
It is, and you see that they're playing relaxed, they're playing loose, they're playing at home, and so they're just having fun.
Tigers at home this weekend for their final non-conference weekend of the regular season. After this, it is 8 weeks of a grind in the Southeastern Conference. Melanie McKay will lead off the 5th for Michigan State. She's 1 for 1 tonight. And Michaela Martin comes inside on the first pitch. McKay added to the lineup tonight to be an extra threat for Michigan State, and one that Coach Joseph said, hey, don't look at the average. I know what she's capable of. I know what she's been doing every day in practice. She applied at the first at bat. And Casey McCracken retires her on a 4-3 putout. This one down.
And good adjustment by Michaela Martin because the first at bat, McKay had a base hit on an outside drop ball, and this time she saw inside.
So 1 out, base is empty. It's the 9th batter in Katie Quinlan. And McKay and Quinlan, they led off the 3rd inning with back-to-back base hits. That's how that base is loaded, no out jam started. Quinlan with a couple missed bunt attempts, but got a 2-out base hit in the 3rd. Or excuse me, got a 2-strike base hit in the 3rd, rather.
It is, and it was on a changeup, and she's already seen Michaela Martin, and you can tell that she's comfortable in the box, and so you see that she's ready to make something happen.
0-1 pitch finds the strike zone for called strike 2. But for Quinlan, again, that wasn't a factor, down 0-2 against Martin in the 3rd. Martin tonight with 1 strikeout. I like that pitch from Martin there, Casey. She goes same location, just a couple inches further out, trying to draw the swing and miss.
It is, and both pitchers have learned the strike zone, and it definitely changed throughout the game just a tad, and so they're able to recognize that, and so are the hitters. And so the strike zone expanded just a tad, and I'm happy that it hasn't caused any mistakes, and so he's consistent, and so that's what you want to see from an umpire.
Well, the pitchers tonight, and you've had one wild pitch, but for the most part, all the pitchers have attacked the zone consistently, and when you do that, it tends to help you out later in the ballgame.
It is. Knowing the umpire strike zone with 2 strikes is imperative.
So outside on the first 3 pitches, inside on the 4th. Quinlan works the count full after being down 0-2, and Coach Jackie Joseph loves the approach from her center fielder.
It is. She has an awareness of what the strike zone is and what a strike is, and so she's very confident and trusts her eyes.
Payoff pitch, got her swinging, and Michaela Martin, strikeout number 2 of the night. A big one, bases empty, 2 outs.
Just a great drop ball in the outside corner. You see that she's thinking inside, and she chokes up on the bat on that swing, and she's not able to touch the outside corner.
And now for Martin, it'll go back to the top in the catcher, Charlotte Eccles. Eccles, the best hitter for Michigan State up until this point.
It is, Britt, and I've been wondering why I recognize this kid so much. When I went to go hit off Kelly Barnhill for tryouts to get ready, she was catching Kelly Lynch. And so she was the catcher catching, and both of them wound up making the junior national team. And so that is so impressive, and I can tell why she made the team. With her swing, with her confidence, and just being a freshman, that shows you how good she's going to be.
Yeah, for the viewers, we were sitting here in between innings after her last at bat, and Casey's head about explodes, saying, I know Charlotte Eccles. And good Team USA connection. 1-1. Just misses, 2 balls and a strike, and Casey Eccles so patient here. She walked her last at bat after flying out to left her first at bat, and I mean, this is a player, only a freshman, a lot of upside for Michigan State.
It is, and that's something they can build a program around. Her swing, it's smooth, it's pretty, it's going to do a lot of damage.
Routine ground ball to McCracken. She'll take it to Perry. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Bottom of the 5th. Auburn looking for insurance. It's 4-0 Tigers. The old 5th inning stretch at J.B. Moore Field. Fans are happy tonight in orange and blue. It's 4-0 Auburn. And the Tigers gearing up for SEC play 1 week from tomorrow night. The Texas A&M Aggies come to town, and then it's on the road at Mississippi State. And Casey, you can look at Auburn's schedule in a couple of ways. Yes, you can say you don't play number 5 Alabama, number 9 LSU, but you still play 6 top 25 teams. And by the way, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, they are no pushovers in the SEC. But for Auburn going in, you have to win to set yourself up. You have to be looking at those first 2 series and saying, hey, we got to take 2 out of 3 in those first 2. They kind of set the tone because you're going into a brutal stretch with Georgia and Tennessee with some teams to follow.
It is. For Auburn, the first 2 are very important to win, and also the last 2, at least be able to win one of the last 2 series, which is Florida at home and then Arkansas away, because that will set your momentum going towards SEC and postseason.
Ace McCracken to lead off the inning for Auburn. Yeah, Auburn, your final series at home against Florida. That'll be senior weekend, and then you're going to Bogle Park in Fayetteville. That is a tough place to play. Arkansas's had their struggles over the years, but Coach Half, and here's McCracken, a hard grounder to second base. Joyner, a dive, and makes the play. Oh, that's the defensive play of the night, no question, for Michigan State, and it's 1 down.
And that is all about the first step. This is a hot shot by Casey McCracken. Laney's first step was perfect. She's playing up the middle, and she makes a diving stop and a great play.
McCracken robbed of her 100th career base hit, and talked to Coach Joseph before the game about Joyner playing second because she's primarily played shortstop. She said, hey, sometimes she gets in her own head a little too much. Said she moved her over to second so she can't think about short, and she's got enough to be worried about at second. Well, boy, she has played next to perfect tonight on defense for Michigan State. And Alyssa Rivera, the next batter up, who's reached twice tonight with a walk and a single. Getting ahead, 2 balls, no strikes. But yeah, Casey, Auburn going to Arkansas, you have to go to that environment. That was a super regional site last year in the NCAA tournament. You got to go there before going to College Station to start the SEC tournament.
So that's another way to look at it is also you can say, hey, this is going to prepare us for postseason.
2-0 pitch. Carrying in the left center field gap, and Quinlan turns on the Jets. And it's 2 down in the inning. Look at the SEC in the top 25. I mean, you look from 4 to 22 is stacked. It's a league. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. Doesn't matter the ranking, doesn't matter the location. Is pretty simple. Casey, and you know this as good as anybody. You have to bring your A game week in and week out. As most people compare the SEC, every weekend is a super regional type atmosphere.
It is, and you have to treat every weekend like a super regional. You want to go in and say, how do we win 2 out of 3? Sweeps are great, but how do we win 2 out of 3? Because if we can win 2 out of 3 going forward, then we're going to win a World Series.
Well, you're right, because sweeps you take where you take them when you can get them, but sweeps easier said than done in the Southeastern Conference. 1-0 pitch. Tannen Snow launches one deep to left field, back to the wall, and snowballs falling from the sky here at J.B. Moore Field. Her 7th blast of the year, and the Tigers lead it 5-0. Snow's 2nd home run in the last 2 games.
Tannen Snow sees this elevated pitch. It is belt high, and she sends it over the left field wall. Just a great piece of hit. And Britt, it looks like we have a home run. We have a home run back and forth going on between her and Kendall, and everyone's trying to get involved. We have a race going on.
Yeah, Kendall and Tannen coming in were tied, 6 apiece coming into tonight? Well, each have hit a solo home run. Now they're now tied at 7. Well, right behind them is Rivera and McCracken with 5. Justice Perry has 2. Taylon Snow has 1.
And speaking from experience, that's probably the funnest time is when you're competing with someone in a race. I remember Brandy Malero and Emily Carasoni. It would be us 3 usually going back, and then Jade Rhodes. Oh, man.
Gosh, talking about some big bats. Gosh.
We were always in races. It'd be Brandy or it'd be Carasoni, and that was fun because you're almost laughing to the point where we're like, okay, who's next?
Well, you had Haley Fagan in the mix, too. And
absolutely.
Of course, Emily Carasoni. She is a assistant coach on this Auburn staff under head coach Mickey Dean. Coaching down at first base tonight.
Looks like she wants the game over, too.
Carasoni, a All-American in her own right, and has perhaps, speaking of home runs, has perhaps the most famous home run in Auburn softball history and the Women's College World Series history. Had a walk-off grand slam in the national championship game 2 to force game 3 against Oklahoma. And the 1-2 pitch swung on and missed by Kendall Beach, and the 5th inning comes to a close. Not before Auburn gets their 5th run of the night. Tannen Snow, a blast to left, her 7th of the season. It's 5-0 Auburn through 5. Top of the 6th inning at J.B. Moore Field. Auburn leads Michigan State 5 runs off 6 hits. Michigan State's put up 5 hits tonight, still looking for their first run of the ball game. A cold night on the Plains as some rain moving in to the southeast over the weekend. and something that could affect the War Eagle Challenge, but it is not affecting Michaela Martin tonight. Is she's settled in, Casey. She's had a little adversity tonight. Bases loaded, nobody out in the third. Had runners on with no outs in the fourth, but back-to-back innings, she's got a double play, and her defense really stepping up, specifically on the left side in the Snow Sisters, Tannen at third, Talon at short. Ebony Eccles to lead off the top of the sixth. And Martin tonight, 5 innings pitched. Veach and Snow, a couple home runs. And for Michigan State, Watson, she went 2 innings, 3 hits to start the game. Here's a slow roller, gets under. Martin goes to McCracken for the out.
I like that reaction from Michaela Martin. Right when she went under her glove, she's like, "Oh, oops, it's not there."
Well, if you've ever talked to Michaela, and I've had the privilege to a few times with some interviews, that's her personality.
Yes.
That's her personality coming out like, it's fine.
It's fine. I have an All-American basically behind me.
Katie Ladd, liner dropping to a knee. McCracken makes it look easy. Waves to the crowd for the second out.
Just a great play by Casey McCracken. She goes to the knee to make sure she can catch it in the air. She doesn't have to make a play, and in that little split position, half split.
Man.
Making it look so elegant, easy.
I would break multiple things if I had to make that catch. First pitch to Meach. Foul back to the screen.
We were just talking about second basemen and Karasoni and how amazing she was to have as a second baseman behind you. Or as me for turning double plays. It was just impressive. And then have Casey McCracken making these plays. And
well, McCracken, too, a player that stepped up in 2016. I mean, she had some big shoes to fill at second base, Casey. And to come out behind Emily Carasoni and how she's improved from year to year, I mean, it's just crazy what Auburn's had talent-wise in the last 6 years or so with Carasoni and McCracken. And now Carasoni gets to coach the talent of Casey McCracken.
it is, and you can't help but wonder what kind of tidbits or what useful hints she's able to share with Casey McCracken.
Well, the thing about McCracken, too, is you just saw it on the last play, is the range that she has on the right side of that infield. And to me, that's the most impressive in the glove. I mean, she's as good as anybody at second base.
It is, and she's the leader on the team, and you want the leader as far as Auburn is on the second baseman because that's the toughest coverages.
And Casey McCracken makes all 3 outs for Auburn in the top of the 6th. We head to the bottom half. Auburn's in control. On Sunday, March 3rd, it was one of the most horrific days in the history of East Alabama. Beauregard, Alabama, and Smith Station, Alabama, hit by an EF4 tornadoes. Well, you can help out in the tornado relief effort tomorrow, 4 to 7 Central, Saturday at 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central. Help out Beauregard and Smith Station, Alabama. Gate 14 of Jordan-Hare Stadium and the McWhorter parking lot right beside J.B. Moore Field. Donate bottled water, diapers, baby wipes, and formula, trash bags, food, and even hygiene products. You can also find information online at auburn.edu/tornado relief. And Casey, nothing can put into words what East Alabama, what Lee County, Alabama has gone through in the last week. And Beauregard High School, for those of you that don't know, Beauregard, Alabama, Smith Station, Alabama, Beauregard's is less than 10 miles from Auburn, and Smith Station a little bit further on the edge of Lee County. But how the county has come together, how Auburn University has come together with resources to help these neighboring communities is special to see. But our thoughts and prayers definitely with those in those communities, and we hope we can do our part to help out because it's just been a tough week in East Alabama.
It is, and what you always see with disaster is the love and the outpour of people wanting to help. And as Auburn went to Tuscaloosa to help with their tornado, we saw Julio Jones doing the Tide for Tigers.
Sure.
They did a relief drive, and everyone wants to help, and so they just need all the help they can get.
First pitch, Justice Perry goes back. His Meach makes the catch on the wall, and it's one down in the inning. And for Michigan State, they have spent the week. This is their spring break week. They have spent the entire week in the state of Alabama. They spent the first part of the week in Tuscaloosa, and last weekend playing in a tournament at Alabama. Well, I asked Coach Joseph what they did to, during that time. They said they practiced a few times at the University of Alabama, but they went to Selma, Alabama, to the Edmund Pettus Bridge to view where the famous march happened in the state of Alabama in Selma. And when when I asked her why, she said, hey, we're educators first. A lot of these kids on their team, aren't familiar with the civil rights movement. And I just thought that was so impressive how they were able to use this trip in a teaching moment and go to one of the most famous sites of American history. And hats off to Michigan State for how they spent their spring break week.
That is impressive, and not until this year was I able to actually walk down the bridge, see where Martin Luther King, gave his sermons, and it is definitely an empowering moment where you're like, wow, this is where history took place.
Bree Fornes, a high pop-up, turns into a fly ball left field side. Eccles overruns it down the line. It'll fall to the turf. Eccles with a slow walk back towards left field. She had to run a long way to get to that ball as it tailed back just at the last second.
And lights definitely play a part right here. It's knowing the field, and they're not too familiar. This is the first time at JB Moore, and so what people don't know is that there's lights right behind us, and it's really tough to see in that hole over there by the cages. It's actually kind of dark, and so that's a tough spot to have a play. So good try, but luckily it's only a strike.
And a long run for Mackenzie Meach in right. It's a 1-2 count on Bree Fornes, who's hitless on the night, but had a great bunt in the second inning that forced an error and took third on the play.
And I'm liking those foul balls because she's barreling. And that was a great take on a changeup. She held back. She's seeing the ball very well this at bat. She's very confident with her two-strike approach, and it shows right here.
Gregory with a 2-2. Another chance for Laney Joyner. She's like a magnet at second tonight for Michigan State. And that's the second out of the inning.
And she's been a rock over there. That has to be, what, her eighth or ninth assist? And
that's her ninth assist of the night.
So she is staying a wall and adding confidence to Gregory pitching.
And for Joyner, had the great diving play in the fifth inning. Play of the night for Michigan State. And now his base is empty, 2 outs with a pinch hitter coming to bat.
Now batting for Auburn, number 7, Carmen Greenwood.
It will be Carmen Greenwood, the redshirt sophomore. Greenwood back in the lineup this year after redshirting last season for an injury. She played 2 seasons ago. It's kind of been a spot player in and out of the lineup. And make it the 10th chance tonight for Laney Joyner. And she ends the 6th inning. 3 outs to play at J.B. Moore Field. Auburn in control, 5-0. Tigers are 3 outs away from a shutout over Michigan State. 5-0 Auburn in the top of the 7th inning. And they've got the senior ace in Michaela Martin going for her 5th shutout of the season. And if Auburn holds on, this will be the Tigers' 7th shutout. Auburn's last came against Oregon last Friday. The Tigers run ruled the number 20th ranked Oregon Ducks 8-0 in the Judy Garment Classic. Michaela Martin went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, had 9 strikeouts in the outing, and did it in 71 pitches with a 0.64 ERA. And tonight for Martin, she's thrown well. She's thrown well on a 75 pitch count with 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. She'll face Evelyn Joyner and White, 5, 6, and 7 of the Spartan order. But with Martin tonight, Casey she's used her defense, hasn't panicked. You can tell she's been a little frustrated maybe a time or two, but she hasn't panicked. She stayed with her plan and has showed off tonight.
No, and she's a senior. She has that composure to not only trust her defense, but she's had less strikeouts than her usual, and she hasn't cared once. You haven't seen that in her face, in her reaction, and she's like, okay, it's an out. We're almost done. Let's complete the game.
Oh, and for Martin, I think she'll trade strikeouts tonight for a shutout. Again, going for her 5th of the year. Evelyn at the plate after singling her last at bat. Chopper right to the glove of Tannen Snow. This one down.
And the good thing about the less amount of strikeouts is her pitch count. You know, she's only at 78 pitches, and she's almost on a complete game. Usually you're seeing, nowadays 120 maybe. And so to keep it under 100 is great.
Be interesting to see how Auburn decides to use their pitching this weekend, because Auburn still got some games left. Schedule come out. Auburn will play 2 games tomorrow and then 2 games on Saturday. A little schedule change with weather coming in on Sunday. And how much more does Auburn pitch Michaela Martin this weekend? Because with Texas A&M coming to town next weekend, this is not guaranteed. This has not been put out by the coaching staff, but I think most would assume that Michaela Martin's going to go 2 of the 3 in starts that weekend.
I think that's a good assumption.
But you know what happens when you assume from time to time?
I mean, as a team, you prepare for everyone, but the way it's looking, I would 100% say Michaela Martin's starting the first game.
But Auburn's they've got some good options. As Auburn's building up Lexi Handley, the transfer from Akron, you have Ashley Swindle, who has pitched great in relief, and then Chardonnay Harris you have in a lefty, and the 1-1 pitch swung on. But between those 3, you have Chardonnay, who's a sophomore this year. She's developing. Ashley Swindle, who's a junior. She's one that's kind of been through it all. She's started a few. She's been more effective in relief. And then Lexi Handley, who's coming back off an injury. And the 1-2 takes care of business on the inside corner. And Michaela Martin with her 3rd strikeout of the night.
And we see her money pitch, that drop inside off the plate. It actually ends up in the batter's box with Lainey Joyner, and so just a great job.
And of course, another great pitcher in the stands tonight with Kaylee Carlson. Just think if Auburn had her still, Casey, with the depth of adding Lexi Handley.
It would definitely be a force. Definitely be a force. So many tools.
1 out to play for Auburn. Michigan State is trying to extend the ball game. It'll be Lexi White, the designated player, up. And actually it's a pinch hitter in Riley Paxson. 0-1 comes inside on the righty.
Right here that she's swinging over. She's taking her hands away from herself, and so Michaela Martin should have a lot of confidence throwing the drop ball inside one more time. And as a pinch hitter right here, Paxson, you have to be able to make this adjustment.
For the win, strikeout swinging, and Michaela Martin has her 5th shutout of the season. Auburn picks up their 7th as Auburn shuts out Michigan State 5-0.
And we see that Michaela Martin caps off this win and shutout with a strikeout on her money pitch, which is a drop ball inside.
From my partner, Casey Cooper, I'm Rip Bowen saying so long from Jamie Moore Field, where the final score is Auburn 5, Michigan State 0. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of the SEC ESPN Network.